Right before we get started, just wanted to add, I know Mr. Nawrocki told me that one of the questions was around transition with the new executive director. For those who may not be aware, I am retiring at the end of this school year. Very excited about that, and have lots of plans to move into the next stage of my life, which includes learning how to play golf. And moving for the summer up to we have a cabin actually up on a pond up by North Conway in the White Mountains. And so that's how I'll be spending my summer. So excited about that. And as you probably are aware, we have a new executive director coming in. And she will be spending the day here at AMSA coming up the next couple of weeks. And then you know, as much as she would like, she'll be spending time here on campus and spending time with me. She is also still a principal of the school of King Philip high school down a ways from here. And she is still running that school as well. So we have a whole team of folks here that will be ready to help her when she comes on campus. So no worries about Lisa. She's going to be great. Let's see, Mike, you can switch to my first slide, please. All right, so the building continues, the process continues to move along. We're up to construction drawings all along the way. There's various points where the drawings just keep getting more and more detailed. We're on our third set of drawings. These are construction grade drawings, and they are due from the architects on June 21st, and that's right on schedule. What we've been expecting. It's those drawings there that go out to the subcontractors, and we get bids for the work. So you get your plumbing bid, you get your electrical bid, and then those bids come in and they come together, and that's where we get the final project cost. That final project cost will be reviewed and voted on by the board for this academic building as of in August. And so that will be the last and final vote on that academic building. And but for right now, we're actually the Loop Road, and I'm going to show you a drawing of how that's going to fit into the campus. That they are actually going to break ground on that. We're paying cash on that. It doesn't have anything to do with the loan that we have, the construction loan, and they will be breaking ground on that. Bringing all their equipment on campus and getting set up to break ground on June 22nd. So as you know, June 21st is our last day of school. They will be waiting till the campus clears out, and they will start to move their equipment on to begin the Loop Road part of the process. The city of Marlborough, we've had the permitting phase. It's already in process. We've already presented this project in a public meeting with the city. Just actually this morning got back some of their comments. They were minimal. We don't expect there really to be any issue with the city of Marlborough getting things permitted. They've been very supportive and very helpful, and it's been a great experience working with them. Next one, Mike. Okay, so just as a quick reminder of what the project is, in case we have some new folks here who may not be aware, we do own the whole campus now. We own all three buildings. We are adding, where the big number one is, we're adding that academic building there. There are 5 science labs there, 2 physics, 2 chemistry, 1 biology, plus 5 additional classrooms, bathrooms, and enough bathrooms to support a gymnasium eventually, and phase 2 being added on. Phase 2, number 2 here, you can see this is temporary parking. So this is going to be a graded area. It will be parking until we add the gymnasium onto this academic building. And once we do that, of course, this is 30 parking spaces here. We'll be expanding the front end of our parking lot to accommodate extra spaces once the gymnasium in phase 2 gets added in here. Just to kind of orient you on campus, this is by the lower school building. So the nurse's office is where this little L-shaped area is. Mike, maybe you can just point to where Maureen's nurses, this is right here. So you kind of have an idea of exactly the area that we're looking at. Yeah, and Mike, you can go ahead and, okay. So this is the loop road. This is the work that's going to be done this summer. The blue arrow, you can't see this whole slide, but the blue arrow, that indicates there's a walking path, more or less, that is there right now. And so if you've ever walked the campus, you've probably seen this. It's a significant hill there, and it's not wide enough for cars. So what we're actually doing, instead of actually expanding that, which was going to be very difficult to do the grading on, they're adding a retaining wall where the orange arrow is. You can see the retaining wall is that darker line, and we're adding the loop road piece here. The loop road, that's plenty of space for 2.5 cars. It's nice and wide that can go. Parents will go through there, and then you're going to see. I'm going to show you where the driving routes are going to be also. But I wanted just for you to have an idea of where the loop road was going to go and how that was going to work. And you can see that this is more or less behind the upper school building, which is where most of our high school students are housed. Okay, next one. Okay, this is the new traffic pattern. We've talked about this a lot, but this gives the details of how it's actually going to work. There'll be new signage. There's going to be new signage all over the campus, and you're going to see that when you come back to school in August. But you'll be entering, parents are the pink lines, red line there. You'll be coming in by the 165 building and by the new building, not over by 4 Kicks where you are right now. So Mike, maybe if you bring your cursor way over to where they'll be entering campus. Great, thank you, right over here. And the parents will loop all the way back behind the upper school building. Now, if you're dropping off at the high school, you're gonna veer off there. The traffic's gonna split. You're gonna veer off to the right. The left, and you'll drop your students off there. If you're gonna continue to go around campus and drop off by the lower school, you'll use the upper route, and then it will be wide enough for you to go through 2 cars at a time, and then come down here in front of the lower school building, and then you'll go out by 4 Kicks. So it's going to reverse the traffic on campus. And because the building is now going to be in the center where you would typically drive in the morning, it closes up that center campus. There'll be parking here, but parents for visitor parking will actually park in the new parking area. So the new building will be the new welcome entry point to the school campus. So if you're going to drop off your child's lunch because they forgot it at home, you're going to park in the new parking lot, and you're going to enter, and one of Miss McLaughlin or one of our famous front desk ladies will be there to take care of you. So if your student is riding a bus, they will actually come in the same way they typically do now. They'll come in by 4 Kicks, and they're going to go into this bus lane here. The bus lane is actually going to be widened so that we can accommodate all the buses, and they'll be, in line side by side. There'll be obviously many adults out there directing students in traffic as they exit the buses in the morning. Also, the buses, as you probably know, don't all show up at once. So they'll be dropping students off. And there's a pedestrian zone. You can see that's going to be between the new building and the 165 building. That's a road right now that no one drives on. The kids mostly walk on that as well. And Mike is pointing to that area here. And then the buses are going to be just exiting right out. So they're on campus, they're dropping, and they're leaving very, very quickly there. You can see that we are changing, we call it the nubbin, but we are changing that so that there'll be a better turning radius for the buses leaving campus and cars driving onto campus. And then let's see, the seniors will still come in through the 4 Kicks entrance as well, and parking in that very front parking lot. If they are a junior and they're driving, they will be entering just the way a parent does along the pink red line, and they will be parking behind the upper school building. That front parking lot has been has been for seniors this year. So that it's going to be different, but we will have plenty of signage here. There'll be a brand new sign as well. You can see a little dash mark way down here on the bottom as you enter the campus in the new entrance. That will have it'll be a beautiful new sign for the school. And then there'll be other signage directing you of where you're driving. But the idea is really to keep the traffic moving in one direction. We know it's a little bit further perhaps to drive, but we think it's going to be much more efficient. And then as you stack up in the afternoon, once again, you're going to be able to stack your cars up on campus instead of on Forest Street, which was really the goal of this, is to get the traffic off of Forest Street that we know is a problem for the surrounding businesses and for the city itself. They're very happy to see that we have taken their request seriously to change this. But primarily, especially as parents and as educators, as human beings, what we want really is for the campus to be safe for the kids, right? Because they are throughout the day, as you know, they're going between 3 buildings here. And this is going to provide safety for them as they move between these 3 buildings all the time. The only cars that will be parking in the center here until someday this turns into all of a green space when we can afford that will be folks that are here all day. And we know that there isn't going to be people pulling in and out and visitors and things like that. Because once again, we want to keep this center area of campus free from vehicles and safe for the kids to be moving around. And is there one more, Mike? Yep, I think this is the picture of the building. Okay, so this is actually what the new building is going to look like. They're actually coming next week we're going to pick out the color of the bricks and paint inside and things like that. But you can see how visible this area is going to be. And you can see where it orients to the 165 building. So that building, if you've been here for parent night, the white building, the 165 building, this is going to be very, very close. And I think it's really going to be a focal point to the campus, right? It's going to be what you're going to see from Forest Street. And I think it's finally going to look like a school building. Is it as big as we want? No, it's not as big as we want, but it is what we can afford at this point. And so, we ask that you continue to reach out to us if you have worked for a company or know someone who might be interested in supporting our project. We are actively involved in raising funds for this. But I do think that this is going to be a huge, huge improvement, not only to our campus, but also for our student experience, as they really have been in subpar laboratories at this point. And being the Math and Science Academy that we are, our kids and our staff, they deserve this space to have these wonderful laboratories. They're going to double the size of what the students have been in up to this point. And they're going to be beautiful. And we're very, very excited about it's all going to be new equipment, new benches, lab benches, and just, double every single one of those rooms is double what the kids have right now. So anyone have any questions or anything about that before I take off? And thank you for the message, the nice message in the chat. That's all I have. Anybody has any questions about the building project? We actually have a board meeting this evening. Feel free to, pop into that. It will be part of exactly what you saw, actually will be part of my report to the board tonight, just as a quick update. But if you want to reach out with any questions that you might have, be happy to talk to anyone. Let's see, can we still take the left from Forest Street onto campus? Yes, to get onto campus in the morning. Yes, you will be able to do that. They will likely be, and this will be up to Mike and the team to decide next year once we really see where we are. But it's likely that there'll be 2 people out there directing traffic. Like right now, Peter Seppi is out there in the morning, but there'll likely be 1 person there and 1 person at the other entrance as well. So they will be allowing you to take lefts and rights, just the way that Peter does in the morning. So yes. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Miss Lindsay, for that update. I can't wait to see what this building's going to look like and the loop road. It's going to be great.
I agree. It's going to be fantastic. All right. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. So welcome everybody and good morning. I'm going to take it off here with some school updates for you. So I'm just starting with the upcoming MCAS dates that we have in the near future here. So we have grade 8, our science, technology, and engineering MCAS. We have our 10th grade math MCAS coming up, as well as grade 9 biology. So a busy spring with the MCAS dates. Information about each of the MCAS, we send that all out through email, through our announcements. So be on the lookout if your student is taking an MCAS this spring. There'll be lots of information heading your way about that. So as with every school year, we have a busy spring. This is no exception to that. We have a lot going on in terms of student life and a lot of fun things, lots of celebration. So this is just a preview, a glimpse at what we have going on. As you all know, we're back to field trips this year. So we've been excited about that. Grade 7, led by Zach Oglesby, is taking the grade 7 students to Kimball Farms. That's a new trip that they've never done before. They're all really excited about that. So that is next week. So hopefully the weather turns around from what we see right now with the rain, but I'm hopeful it will be great. We are also, for the first time, offering a 8th grade dance. It's with like a theme of being the graduation. It's a semi-formal or dress your best. That will be here at AMSA in the upper school cafeteria. That's run by the 8th grade advisor, Darcy Kloutman. So that's also next Friday night. Students are really excited about that, and the tickets can be bought on My School Box. Our annual Arts and Science Night, that's coming up on May 18th. That's a busy night here on campus. It's definitely an event you don't want to miss out on. Last year was our first year combining the arts and the science together. It was very successful, so we're continuing with that. So come on campus. There's lots of information in our announcements about that, as well as prom. So I included, and Mike, you don't have to click on it, but we do have an entire web page dedicated to prom. So if you have a junior or senior, you're not sure what's going on about prom, we have an entire web page on prom with all the information, the after prom tickets, the busing, bringing a guest, where, the venue, the menu, the whole thing. So I'm very excited about this year's prom being at Stowe Acres. We're bringing the prom a little bit closer here to campus, and that should be a wonderful evening for our juniors and our seniors. Our student government will be hosting a Spirit Week, so we've got that coming up, as well as more 8th grade celebrations, the annual 8th grade Step Up Night at the Best Western on May 22nd. That's for our families to come and celebrate our 8th graders as they move on to be high school students. It's a big deal for them. And lots of days in recognition for our seniors. Our PTO generously is hosting a trip, a movie day field trip. We're going to the Maynard Fine Arts. Again, thank you to the PTO for sponsoring that trip. So our students will head over to Maynard Fine Arts. We are watching Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And admittedly, I have not seen it yet, which I am attending this trip with our seniors to hang out with them for the day. They'll have an opportunity to get an ice cream. There's a creamery there on site that the PTO, again, is generously providing for us. And so it's just a fun day for the seniors to get together. It's during the school day, so I'm assuming most or not, if not all, will come with us that day. They also have their recognition night at the Best Western that we do every year, and that recognizes specific seniors, awards, and scholarships. All students are invited to come to that and celebrate each other and their peers and their classmates. We have our field day on May 25th. That is traditionally been held on the last day of school, and we are moving it up earlier to the year in hopes that we'll have our seniors still here on campus so they can participate in field day and just make it more part of the school year rather than just the last day. So it will be in part of our Senior Week, or excuse me, our Spirit Week. So Spirit Week is that week, and so it's just another event for our students to look forward to. And I think it will be a great adjustment having it more part of our school year. The following day, senior celebration, that's just during the school day for our students over at Four Kicks. It's very much like a pep rally style. We will have student-led MCs. They will have a little slideshow that they will present and showcase each of our seniors and where they're heading after AMSA, their life after AMSA. We'll have sports events, our sport teams up there, so we'll recognize our spring sports. And we will also recognize seniors with senior superlatives in the yearbook. So lots of good things. It's just a fun day for our seniors. And then last but not least, of course, the seniors' last day, May 30th. And for those families who've been part of AMSA for a while, you know that we host a car parade where the seniors drive around safely around our campus a few times around that big loop while our parents and our students cheer them on and say goodbye as their last drive off of campus. We host a luncheon for them here. So again, another fun day, lots of celebrations for them, just a time to bond and really take in the last moments that they have here at AMSA before heading off for graduation. So very busy, a very busy spring. I think I saw a question pop up about grade 6. Grade 6 is doing, they host like an Olympiad here on campus in the spring. So it's an event that Amanda Morin puts on for grade 6, and that's what they're doing in the spring, from my understanding so far. So information will come out about that from Amanda Morin. Then Mike, you can go ahead to the next slide. I have some information just in particular about the seniors and the senior week. So just the next slide. And you're on mute, Mike.
I just wanted to clarify one thing here on this page. The movie day field trip.
Yep.
If anyone out there right now or anyone who watches the recording, just to clarify the one piece on the how that day is going to look. The PTO is sponsoring that day. They're taking care of much of the cost of that trip. We're going to have students bring additional money if they want to buy any additional concessions or snacks, drinks there at the theater. And the ice cream at the end will be an additional cost for the students. They'll have to bring extra money for that because we're organizing an ice cream truck to actually come here on May 30th in lieu of purchasing ice cream for that day. Just in case there's any senior parents out there. All this information will be sent out to the senior students and it will be on My School Bucks, all that information when the parents sign up. I'll move on to the next slide for you.
Thank you. Yep, thank you for clarifying that. So also for the senior families out there, there's been a large packet of information that has been sent out that clearly lays out every event that's going on here for the seniors, because there's a lot of dates, there's a lot of times, lots of information. So make sure that you have that packet of information. It's been sent out by the class advisors. That's Mr. Matt Anderson and Miss Christy Jaglowski. I should say Miss Jaglowski, excuse me about that. And so that information's all been sent out. They also have a Google Classroom. So all the information's posted there too. That's more up to date and live. They send out a lot of reminders there. So please be on the lookout. And they're your go-to people for questions about senior events. So this is our senior week and what we have planned for the seniors. We're really, really excited about how this is going to be laid out for our seniors this year. We are, for the first time ever, attending a Boston Harbor cruise. That's on Monday night, June 5th. We will have buses here at AMSA busing our students to the Boston Harbor event. We'll be cruising with them for, I believe, 3 to 4 hours. In that event, there's the price of the ticket includes dinner, there's a DJ, there's professional photos, there'll be a dance floor. So they will have a whole level of one of the Spirit of Boston boats. So they get a whole level of that, as well as access to the rooftop level of the boat. So that's a big night for them. It will be a semi-formal event. And again, another opportunity to really celebrate with their classmates. I'm really looking forward to that one, and I will be there that night. So I'm really excited. For those of you, you know, have seniors out there, we started the senior year with a senior sunrise. So they joined together on campus to watch the sunrise back in early September as a class, and they brought in, you know, coffee and donuts, breakfast things, and they kind of hung out as a group and as a class watching the sunrise. This was a student-led idea. The student governments really wanted to do this, watch the sunrise together, and then at the end of the year, watch the sunset. So a new tradition at AMSA, and it is wonderful. We will have our graduation rehearsal here at 4 Kicks so that we can go through all the details, as well as Six Flags trip on Thursday. So that's an all-day trip out to Six Flags. Again, all the information's been sent out. There's permission slips and ticket prices all on My School Bucks. And then last but not least, we have our graduation, our final celebration for the class of 2023 over at 4 Kicks for our graduation. And that is all I have. And if anyone has questions about anything here, please drop it in the chat. Mike, did I miss anything? There's a lot here, so I know I'm talking a lot.
No, I don't think you missed anything. I think you covered, you know, all 35 events.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, I'm moving on now, right?
Yep.
Okay, everyone. I'll try and be brief here. This information went out, I believe, probably Monday this week or maybe late last week. I can't remember, but please check your email inboxes. If you have not come across this yet, it's certainly in there. We sent out our end of year schedule now that snow days, I hope, snow days are over for the rest of the year. So we sort of have, so we do have the last day of school established as June 21st. We sent out a comprehensive email with plenty of information on it and some links specifically for lower school, upper school scheduling, and also a link for the last day of school. So I just wanted to draw little attention to that while we have, you know, a small audience here, but potentially a bigger audience who checks out these recordings. Just to put a voice to the email, if you will, that went out recently. So this is just a glimpse into the lower school end of year schedule. Everything sort of the schedule adjustment occurs on Wednesday, June 14th. That's when things start to look a little bit different. We get into the block scheduling, we get into extended periods. So the lower schoolers will be going through this particular schedule. You'll see that there are splits between each block. Some of these blocks may be full class periods. For example, you'll see B block is split between B1 and B2. There's a little bit of a transition time there. You know, if a student has, let me think. If they have English that period, they would just remain in the same classroom. I'm sure the teacher will still give them that 5-minute transition break, but they will be just reporting and staying in English for that full block because that's a one credit, everyday course. But if you're a student who on your schedule has a B1 art class and then B2, you have phys ed, we will split those classes up in that particular case. So some students would actually be transitioning to a whole different class period or a whole different subject, different teacher during those periods. You'll see we placed H block first, just to get directed study, sort of out of the way to begin with, to start off this process. And also I want everyone to keep in mind for final exams, lower school students only, all lower school students will take a math final exam. So if and their teachers will talk to them directly about this as well. For example, if I'm a student who has, because our math blocks, we have more than 2 math blocks. Students take 3 different math blocks, right? So if I'm a student who has B block, algebra, and a C block geometry, something along those lines, geometry would only be a half credit course, for example, in this case. Finals are not being given for the half credit courses. The math exams are being taken during the block where they meet each day. So if on my schedule, I'm a student and I have B1, B2, 7th grade algebra, I'm going to be taking my exam for Algebra 7 during B block. If I'm another student who has it G block, my G1, G2 is Algebra 7, then I know that my exam is actually not until the following week on Tuesday, June 20th during G block. All this, again, will be explained by each classroom teacher. So the students will know exactly what their schedule will look like for the math final exams and when it will occur. We ran this schedule last year, and I must say that it worked beautifully. It was the first year we implemented the schedule. It was the 21-22 school year. It all went very well. If you have any questions along the way, please feel free to reach out to me or to a particular math teacher. Other than that, the middle school students are running through their schedules, as you can see here. I'm going to move on to the upper school schedule. So final exams are involved in the upper school. Each core subject area, all of the courses that meet each day, aside from AP. So AP exams are actually taking place this week and next week. If your child's in an AP class, let's say they have an H block, AP psychology course right now. There is no final exam in AP psychology. They're taking their AP exams this week. The high school students do not need to show up for AP psychology that day, if there's any juniors out there who are taking it right now. Same thing for any of the AP courses, AP US history. If there's a junior out there who has it H block, you're taking your exam over the next 2 weeks completely separately. There will be no final exam in that class. Student does not need to report to school on that day. So all the other courses that meet each day, again, I'm going through some examples here. If I'm a student, if I'm a sophomore in high school and I'm in Spanish 2, I will, and I have Spanish 2 during H block, I am reporting to Spanish during H block on Wednesday, June 14th for a potential final exam or for a end of year assignment or for some sort of class. Now, not every department is going to issue traditional final exams. The department chairs and their teachers are going to communicate this information, if they have not already done so, directly to their high school students. The students will know very well far in advance as to if they actually have a sit-down traditional final exam or not. I will tell you that the math courses will certainly have a traditional final exam. They'll take their exam, again, on the blocks that meet on the odd and even days. So if I'm a student who has B1 and B2 Algebra 2 honors, I know that my exam is going to be on B1 during B block, not during the block that only meets on one of the days, on the odd or even day. What I'm saying to you as parents, you're probably not understanding. Our students would understand me very clearly. I'm trying to break it down as best as I can. Long story short is the students will know. We ran this schedule last year. It was very smooth. They will know exactly when their exam block will be taking place for math. In all the other subjects, they will know from their teacher if they are taking, like I said, a traditional final exam or if there'll be a project. Some teachers may not be giving final exams at all, but they are still expected to run class that day and have some sort of activity, closeout activity, or anything that they really want to do. But attendance is expected for the classes that meet every day, the 1-credit courses. Now, if I'm a student and I have computer science during H1 block and my H2 block is an art course, those are 2 half-credit courses. You do not need to show up for the H block exam in that case. But this is all explained in the email, and it's on the bottom. This attachment that went out in the email that we're looking at right now, it has this information in bulleted form underneath it. Again, our students will be well-versed in this. It ran smoothly last year. I hope it runs smoothly again. But they'll understand which exam blocks they do not even need to report to. And that would be cases where it's an AP course or a half-credit course, or if you have a study hall during one of these blocks on every other day, you do not need to report here on campus. We will have space available for students who, transportation wise, they just need to be here. They don't have the opportunity to be picked up or dropped off later in the day. That's fine. We'll have space for them. I believe we'll probably end up using the cafeteria space for students to sit and study, or just sit and wait for their ride or wait for the bus to come at the end of the day. Dismissal time on, again, this information is all in the email, but dismissal time for these 4 days we're looking at will be at 11:45 a.m. That's to account for the exam time. So it's a little bit later than our traditional our normal half day dismissal time. It's about 38 minutes later. So 11:45 versus 11:07. So please keep that in mind. Again, all of that is in bold and attention is drawn to that on the message that went out to families. Last day of school will be a regular dismissal time of 11:07. Here it says 11:03. The period ends. We'll just have a 4-minute gap of time for students to get themselves situated and get ready to get out of here for the year. As Ms. Cence mentioned, we're not going to be hosting the field day on the very last day of school. We're running that in May and tying it into Spirit Week and including the seniors, which I think is going to be great. Last day of school will be very simple. You're running through your day one schedule, and teachers have a lot of quite a bit of discretion on how they want to operate these shortened class periods. All 8 periods will meet in around 20 minutes or 20 minutes for each period. And they can have, they can play a fun game, activity. They could go over final exams if they wanted to, if they corrected them and they have a full credit course that they issued a final exam to, they could go through that very quickly. We've never had the opportunity to do that in the past. So that window of opportunity is there. But it's not going to be guaranteed for every course because some teachers may need, the rest of the day or the following day to actually, final up to finish up their final exam grading. So that is what the last day of school will look like. Again, that was included in the email. And I do believe that that is my last slide. We do look forward to closing out this year on a high note. Things are already great right now. Once the weather gets better and this rain stops, I think the mood will rise to an even higher level than it already is. I feel like there's a lot of happiness around here. A lot of people taking part in the AP exams, and there's just a lot of hard work going on and enjoyment. And we look forward to closing things out, like I said, on a high note.